Welcome to yet another exciting episode of your show, Sports Business with Veronica, where we discuss the business transactions and business opportunities that are there in our local sport. And with me today, we have the Open Gold Holdings CEO, who is also part of the Heart Group that runs the Heart Women's League and who is also very active in football development in the country. I'm talking about none other than Mr. Vincent Chawonza, the former Dynamos vice chairperson. Welcome to the show, Mr. Chawonza.
Thank you, Veronica. Thank you for this show. Also, I would want to commend you on starting. It's a unique show because it's looking on the business side of sport, which we lack. Yes. We only look at passion, yes, skill, yes, talent in the national team. Yes. But no one really has wanted to dig deep into the business side of football.
And yet there is so many opportunities that we can explore.
Exactly. And also in the past, you can look that there are so many clubs that did things correctly. Yes. I can give an example. We had Baimo, yes, we had Sporting Lions, we had Masvingo United, we had in Division 1 Twalumba, yes, where you could see that these guys are pumping money into the sport, but somehow they would disappear within 5 or so seasons. Yes. So it's very pertinent for sport also to be run as a complete business, yes, looking at all aspects of the sport.
Okay. Yeah. And looking at this issue of business, you are someone who is within the corporate world. Yes. You understand business very well because, yes, you run your own businesses. You are, yes, a businessman. Yes. And also administratively, you have been in sport. You, yes, have been there. You have seen a lot of things. Yes. So maybe in your own words, yes, how do you understand sports business?
What I will tell you is that sport business is not different from Open Gold. Yes. It's not different from Delta. Yes. It's not different from Econet, because there is what we call diligent subtraction in investment. That when you invest your money, it's supposed to pay you back, yes, in figures. Or when you subtract your money, it's going to give you a good name which you can ride on to make money. So everything about business is about money, the bottom line. Yeah. So what happens now is that I will tell you that there are other, I think I gave examples of other clubs that we've seen, yes, come in, make huge investment into football and disappear within 5 or so seasons. Yes. Why? Because they are just pumping out, yes, and they are not caring much about the same portfolio giving back to them. Yes. If that chain is not complete, you lose money and lose money and lose money, and when the business that you are using to take money to feed into football starts to struggle, the team is also it also dies with it. Yes. Let me give an example of the 3 big teams, yes, which quite often people think that they are the poorest in the country. Yes. Dynamos, Caps and Highlanders. Yes. They've survived the test of time because they've got a fan base which they can monetize. So you find that though they are not doing it intentionally, yes, of which if they do, these are multi-million-dollar clubs, yes, just like your Orlando Pirates, your Mamelodi Sundowns. Yes. But it's happening on its on autopilot. Yes. But you find that they've stood the test of time because of that aspect, that they've got fans who pay, yes, to come and watch. Yes. They've got fans who buy their franchise and all. So what I understand is that whenever you are subtracting your money, the bottom line, you have to look at the bottom line. Is it paying you back as well? So if you don't look at that, you pump out money until you run out of steam. So it's very pertinent that football teams and also sport be run as a business.
Oh, okay. And looking at that aspect whereby we are saying we have pumped out money, we have brought in huge signings. If you calculate even the costs, the accommodation, the traveling, and the allowances that you give the players throughout the season, yes, the prize money that we get at the end of the season, yes, definitely it's probably less than half of what we then get as prize money.
Yes.
How best can the teams or the club owners utilize football as a sport? How can they realize money apart from the prize money?
Actually, Veronica, you'll see that, for example, let's take that winning a Premier Soccer League title in Zimbabwe is 100,000, yes, payable at bank rate. Yes. And then you would have signed 30 players. Some clubs are signing 45,000, some are signing 10,000, 13,000, and the salaries are huge as well. Yes. So you are actually spending, for example, 900,000 to gain 100,000. But if you look at sport looking at the league title in football, looking at the league title, you will not make money. There are so many avenues other than just the PSL title that you can make money with. For example, the franchise, you can make money. TV rights here in Zimbabwe, we ignore TV rights. I don't know why, but look at Azam TV in Tanzania. How much money they are playing clubs. Look at SuperSport. It used to pay our clubs. I was at Dynamos. I could see the accounts that there was money that came from SuperSport because they are screening us. So TV rights is another huge inflow as well. Selling of players as well is another huge inflow. So if you keep recycling old players, it means you are buying a product to put in a showroom which you can't resell, because you are getting someone who's already 31, 30 years old into your showroom, and yet you are ignoring the boys that are 17, 16 and all that you can sell.
Everyone is excited.
Exactly. Sell one player for 5 million in Europe, and then you are good for the next 2-3 seasons. You sell another one. Look at Moises Katumbi in DRC. I think he's done business. He sells a player for 11,000. Sells a player. So they do whatever it takes to get into the UEFA Champions League quarterfinal, because they know that the business is selling players other than the prize money. So you find that there are a lot of things that we've ignored. Football is a passion game, but passion alone is not enough in business. You need to use the calculator. So you find that we don't sell players to Europe. You can actually, now it's private academies that have been selling players. Look at our national team and check if Mashani ever played for the local teams. Look at Marvelous Nakamba, of course it was Bando Rovers. Look at all those English Brigade boys. It's private in parents that were contributing to that. But I also want to see a Premier League where deliberately the PSL clubs have got juniors that feed into the senior team. And this is a product that you can sell. Yes.
And talking about the juniors that can fit into the senior team, I hear you are one of the guys who has been very active in terms of identifying and developing talent.
Yes.
How much have you done in terms of that? And have you, through your program, maybe exported some players?
What I will tell you is that I'm adamant about juniors, and that approach I will never leave it, because you find that in life generally we say that a young person has got a full life. An older person, if I see Veronica and your daughter, there's 1.5 person. You've already lived half your life. But there is a full life there. So deliberately we must have to look at the young boys, the under 13s, the under 14s and all. Look at a guy like Elton Chikona. I was very instrumental to prop up that boy into the senior team. Look at guys like Fusangwenya. I was also very instrumental in popping up your Jaden Bakares and all. I'm a fan of young players. But you find that in our PSL, we need policies that actually force Premier Soccer League teams to play these juniors, to play, not register only. Of course, we say 5 slots are for juniors. They are registered. They will spend the whole season warming up the bench because the coach wants to win. So you find that if a policy says you have to start 2 under 20s of those 5 and substitute an under 20 with an under 20, you are guaranteed of 4 under 20 players playing every Premier League game. Then they get exposed, they develop, and actually they get exposed. So you find that for me, it's a lifetime commitment of propping up young boys. I watch D3, I watch D2, I watch NASH tournaments as well. So we have exposed a lot of young talents, but that effort alone, if you are doing it, for example, as an individual, probably PE is doing it, and probably other private academies as well. But I think this must be a policy issue at the governing body or at PSL for it to yield the results. So it becomes now a drop in the ocean. That Chawonza is doing his thing there, Alois Bunjira is doing something, Bekim Pilonyon is doing something there, Prince Edward Academy is doing their own thing there, and ACIS Academy is doing also their own thing there. So you find that if it's a policy issue now, the impact is huge. But for some of us, it's passion. I want to see new talent budding and also being exported into Europe. But I think we should be intentional about having juniors. Dynamos, Capes, Highlanders used to have juniors. Peter Love was a product of juniors. Benji Konjera was a project of junior. Desmond Maringwa, we had a fracture before he went to Celta Vigo. He was a junior police, also police for Dynamos. The kids net from Chechi, you know how those boys did under coach Moses Chunga. It was intentional that we want to create a Dynamos at Churchill boys, and then that Dynamos will then feed into the national team. The dream team was Coach Fabish coached them as under 23s, and they played in Egypt at All Africa Games. They brought a bronze, knocked out Egypt in their own backyard. That was the same dream team that was very exciting. With your Adam Lovus, your Peter Love, your George Mbrandos, your Alois Bunjiras, and all. So I think in terms of developing talent and junior police, let's be intentional and let it be a group effort. But I, as an individual, it's a lifetime commitment. As long as I breathe, I will be helping juniors.
Okay. And recently you expressed your interest to coming in for the National Food School of Excellence, whereby you committed to be one of the partners that are going to complement National Food's efforts. So looking at you as a corporate, what are some of the major considerations then that you look at when you say, let's commit to sponsor this group of players, let's commit to sponsor this brand?
What happens is also the organization of that company that you want to sponsor, which is another thing that I want to say, that if you are to attract sponsorship, it's about you, the recipient, not the sponsor. It's the way you have organized your things. How professional are you? You have just given the National Food School of Excellence. I was attracted to it because I think in this country, it's the only program that you see that it targets girls. Because you have to be intentional of targeting the girl child because she's disadvantaged by nature of being female, the duties, the chores at home and all already. Number two is the only program that sharpens football skills and sharpens the brain and sharpens social skills. Also addresses gender-based violence, addresses early child marriages, and we are targeting these young girls and deliberately put things in their mind. I always tell people that the brain does not alert you, unlike the stomach. The brain does not alert you when it's empty. You really need to be intentional about putting things in this head, because without V11s you can't see a head that is full and a head that is empty. It doesn't sound. But the stomach alerts you that I want to eat, it's lunchtime. But the head doesn't. So you must deliberately put things intentionally. That's why I was attracted to that National Food School of Interest, because they are taught player rights. They are taught the importance of education. They are taught early childhood marriages. They are taught things like probably safe sex and abstinence and all those things. They become a complete player, which is a problem that we are having with our players. We are taking our players, because a football club is a showroom, like Dynamos, one of the biggest showrooms in the country. You take an unschooled player, very talented. You bring them in there. We don't want to mention names, but you know, very big, exciting talent. And what happened to them? Drugs. They can't read and write. They can't listen to instructions. At one point, I will not mention a name, but we took our junior to Spain to train. He could not hear English. He could not take instructions. And the coach said, the boy is immensely talented, but can't take instructions. So the hearing English was the only thing that made him not to get to Barcelona juniors. But here they thought school is not important. But now they can't hear English, they can't take instructions. And also, just let me say jokingly, there was another also legend who tried to go to Nottingham Forest. I was young then, but I'm told also he could not take instructions. He could not hear English. The coach say pass, he juggles. So you find that school is a barrier to development of kids. For example, let's say they've got a scholarship. Now in Europe you must pass certain grades for you to fit. Lemi Yamao from Barcelona I saw his pass grades this week,
Yes.
that he has passed with flying colors. So they look at that as well. So if you fail and you are talented, they deport you. Yeah. So also general decisions in life that you make in terms of investment as a player and all your completeness and all will also be on the bedside of things. So the National Food School of Excellence is I was attracted to it because it brings up a complete player who can behave like a proper lady, who is intelligent in there, who knows their socials, they know how to interact, they should hear English and know that school is important. So we must do that also as a football family or as a sporting family, that besides doing tennis well, make sure that you are also fluent in English, you can hear English, you can converse, and also you cannot irritate or be a nuisance because of the level of thinking that you'll be doing as well. That's why I was attracted to say this project, we need to put resources. Yeah, because you probably as a sponsor as well, you cannot be losing money and your reputation at the same time. But football clubs are fond of not caring about the brand, it's other people's brands, and the brand and the logo is life to National Foods. So the way you behave when you have been funded, make sure that you are also propping up their brand. You are giving them something in return, which is a good name, a winning mentality, and organization. Not that they lose money. At the end of the day, they lose also a good name. You are soiling the brand after being given money as well.
I think ndadzidza kuti and the brain will not alert you when it's empty, unlike the stomach.
Yes.
And when you touched on the issue of branding, I think you jumped right into my next question.
Yes.
Because I wanted to understand you as an administrator, as a sports person, or
Yes.
as a corporate as well.
Yes.
Do you think our domestic league are doing enough in branding themselves as a
Yes.
marketable product?
It's not. They are not. People should be jostling to. Okay, let's give you an example. We have cricket.
Yes.
In this country,
Yes.
where Mkuru.com just went in there, people want to be associated with Cricket Zimbabwe.
Yes.
So you find that the way these guys have behaved, have branded, their communication, everything about them, the games they play, they don't win much
Yes.
in terms of winning,
Yes.
but the reputation which Cricket Zimbabwe has
And the organization.
in the organization, I think also on the football side of things, our clubs and our league and our ZIFA must also copy something from the cricket side. Scandalous free, they have got their fair share of scandals, but they know how to handle them. Even in media, even when audio leaks, you find that those guys, they know how to handle and damage control. I would just want to give you an example that look at the English Premier Soccer League. I've been there to watch them. Do you know that in derbies, people died outside stadiums. People, they hit each other in coffee shops. They throw chairs. I think you've seen some few clips in London, but they don't report it on the news. And the camera runs away when someone invades the pitch. If you've noticed, if someone in Europe invades the pitch, the camera is taken elsewhere. Here in Zimbabwe, we take there and we report that someone died at Blawayo, at Baba Fields, Dimbare Fen dies at Baba Fields, and so on and so on. So you find that we should mind our publics if we want to attract sponsorship. Those guys like English Premier Soccer League teams, they bring their kids, wear jerseys, they hold their 1-year-old baby, kiss them before they walk onto the pitch, just to show that it's a safe environment, it's a family environment. So you find that also media plays a role on things that they report. We are fond of only focusing on the negatives. We enjoy publicizing that Chawons are fired, so and so stole money, so and so died, there was violence at the Faro Stadium, there was chi and so on. So Premier Soccer League clubs must be aware that no corporates wants to be associated with unsuccessfulness, things that are bad and all those things. So if you want to attract sponsorships into the league, they should make sure that their branding is well, They can attract other TVs from out of the country. They should come and say, no, we want to film your football. We want to film your football and pay you. So for someone to be able to pay their money, the value must be there. That's why you find that now people don't want to, it's individually sponsored. Very few corporates are coming into football to sponsor it. But our league cannot have one sponsor. The whole league with the 18 teams, just one sponsor. And everyone else is just looking. But look at Bad one sponsored, Net one sponsored, Penge BC one sponsored. Where have these guys gone? So we should look at ourselves, reflect in the mirror, and do the proper things. If you don't market it properly, look at the South African Premier Soccer League, the Betway Premier Soccer League. How many sponsors are there? How much money they are paying? I was told that even Simba in Tanzania, they've got a 10 million budget, annual budget. But our local clubs will have a 1 million annual budget. Azam TV pays clubs huge sum of payouts in TV rights because of that reputation and the brand that also attract adverts. Because besides asking ZTN to pay you, is your product attracting money to ZTN? Otherwise they will say no, let's leave it, because we are not attracting anything, and we are actually doing a favor to these guys. It becomes a favor now. Yeah. So I think we have not marketed our football, both from a media perspective and a league perspective, and also knowing your value. You must not accept peanuts. For example, if the whole league is being sponsored by an amount that Scotland alone is using in a season, a league with 18 teams is being sponsored at the same value. Scotland is only their own budget as a club. It's surpassing the sponsorship for 18 teams.
Yes.
So you find that we have to relook at that. Firstly, we create the value that makes these sponsors pay that value that we are giving to them as well.
So in other words, we agree that most if not all of our teams are actually ignoring the marketing side of sports.
Yes. Also go from teams, all Premier Soccer League teams.
Yes.
Let's say give us CVs of your marketing personnel. You find that it's about their brothers and cousins and people which they drink beer with, because you find that they are not like getting professionals. I've been in a Premier Soccer League team whereby you just say, no, Veronica, can you take marketing? You don't even have a diploma in marketing. You don't even know what e-marketing is. You know nothing. But because you know probably a chairman, then you come there once, just take the marketing side of things, do it for us. So they should employ professionals and then allow them to do their jobs. I've noticed in our Premier Soccer League teams that I'm pursuing a PhD. I have 2 master's degrees, practically. Indeed, that's true. I've got a first degree. You are paid with a grade 2 dropout to strategize about a club. So you find that you'll be speaking above their heads. Brain capacity. So you find that you see that you are wasting your time, and your ideas, they are not even understanding them. It's above their heads. They are not. You know what it means when you are told that you have married above your head. It's when you marry someone from Bordeaux, Brook, and you are from Zaraban. You think salad is actually it must be cooked. You understand what I'm saying? The things are just beyond you. So you find that intentionally, let's put in people that are qualified, people that are educated, people that are exposed, people that can give us value, not to award your friends at work. I've got a lot of friends, but I didn't employ them at Open Gold because they don't give me the value that I want. I want an accountant, not a friend at work. So in our Premier Soccer League teams, when you disagree with them, you become an enemy. Actually, disagreeing is very important, because the intention of every argument is to improve, not to win it. People argue to win arguments. Who has more points? Who has no? It's for improvement. If Vero is saying a good point, I should take it. If Vincent is saying a good point, you should take it. But now, if there's that disparity in qualifications, people think that if you oppose their idea, you are fighting them. As a human being, they become emotional. So progress now is derailed. So if our Premier Soccer League teams would take people that are qualified and have systems, HR system, finance policy, code of conduct, and all, not that a boy skips training, he plays on Sunday. The boy was training, doesn't play. I've seen it happening because he's the coach's boy. Another boy who is giving eco cash plays. A talented young man stays out. A boy without parents with means to buy a coach a drink is not signed. A boy who is less talented in driving a Mercedes Benz and they can buy drinks, signed. You understand? So we must have policies that are standard, code of conduct, offices, qualified people in offices. But people, I've noticed that we take our friends to lead our clubs, and then things go haywire because those guys they are clueless. But they are friendly to us, but they don't give us the value that we want.
And I think when you talk in terms of marketing, I would probably commend what the Northern Region did last season. Because look at Northern Region matches. It was everyone wanted to go and watch their matches.
Exactly.
Simply because they did so well in marketing their game.
And also information must be in the public domain already for people to make decisions on should I go to Duke and Slay or should I go to watch FC Platinum. I'll give you an example that the Harare Derby last year was watched by less people that came here to watch the Duke and Slay. 10,000 people paid to watch the Duke and Slay. Harare Derby, 3,700 and something.
And everything was one in the marketing.
It was one in the marketing. The Duke and Slay was there on internet and all. We have talked about the Northern Region. We could see that Banget United today is playing Karoi. We could see that, and the information we didn't scrape for it. But in our Premier Soccer League teams, you have to dig to know how many people have Dynamos signed officially, and to know what's happening there, their direction, and they don't want to come to the media. When I was at Dynamos, I was different. You find that I would go to ZTN, tell them what we think, tell them the narrative, control the narrative, tell them what we are planning with our coach, whether we want him to win the league or not. So information now, if it's not in the public domain, people won't even be aware of where to go and so on. People would have decided on a Tuesday that we are going to watch most because Northern Region is already published. But our Premier Soccer League then, I'm happy that this season, for a change, we have had all fixtures. And clubs can plan, fans can plan as well. Rather than to publish a fixture on a Wednesday. Would have already decided on where we are going to spend our weekends already. So that is commendable from our Premier Soccer League teams. But I think on the marketing side, they have professional people. For example, I will tell you that I respect Yvonne Mangunda, the way she does the things. I respect Chioniso, Mashakada. When Chioniso joins the club, you would see that Chioniso is there. Look at Simba right now. We know everything about Simba. You don't have to scrape for information. That's what our league must do. Because we are competing with brands. And no, the Duke and Slay, Japreza competes with you. Macheso competes with you. The Duke and Slay competes with you. Northern Region right now competes with you. Now we have Zinza there. Chekutu Pirates with Bambo. It will be doing wonders. And we want to see how Chekutu Pirates will do with the other teams. So you find that I've seen bigger crowds in Division 1 clubs. Look at it was Scotland versus Mambas. The last game, I actually left work, packed my bag to go to Rufaro because it was marketed well and it was fully packed. Whether you say they've paid for people, whatever you want to say, it's packed as well. So I think the battle in terms of money is won in marketing as well. But not only marketing, I would also spend half the budget that I should spend in marketing, sharpening my product. So if we come, the boys must display talent to such an extent that it's worthwhile coming back. Because we may fill the stadium today, then it's the performance is bad, it's not attractive and all. So it's also about talent as well that they should put in the showroom, very exciting players and all, so that when we come, we get the value of our money.
And then there is also issue here, personal branding of the players themselves. We have noticed that most corporates now shun dealing with athletes and players. They want to do maybe artists for my endorsements and being my brand ambassadors. What do you feel that our athletes, our players need to understand kuti vazvigadzire as my brands?
You know, that's where we come to the National Food School of Excellence. That a player that goes to National Food School of Excellence, they are taught how to behave in public, they are taught how to hold themselves as a brand. You have noticed how endorsements run away even from Tiger Woods. One silly scandal, all endorsements, they fly through the window, because I don't want Open Gold to be soiled by your behavior, because our behavior is making truck bodies in the engineering. So we come there, we can only stick around with a player who is giving us a good name. Let's take, for example, the way our players dress. They drop their shorts. You see, they expose undergarments in their shorts with a brand there. You understand? So whenever we are associated, because you have to, musicians they've got their fair share of, but it just goes on stage, it disappears. So even musicians too, you have to behave in a manner. Look at Japreza, even whether things are fabricated or what, or Baba Macheso and all, you need also to be aware of your publics. But you find that our players also, they are not groomed enough. They've got scandals with women. They are found in a bar elsewhere when they are playing tomorrow. They do all those things. So corporates don't want to be associated with that. And also it affects clubs as well, because the headline will be Dynamos in midfield, and then you are a sponsor of Dynamos. Then besides that, you must be in a manner. Look at Kama Billiard, how individual endorsements that Kama attracted last season. I think 3 or 4 or so, because he behaved well. You will not see Kama in a pub. You will not see him just doing funny things. After training, because he knew how to behave. It's one example that I can give you. And I will not mention other bad boys, but we know them, that they do drugs. They don't even bath. They are not clean, right? Such that if they are wearing a shirt written Open Gold, you don't want even to be known that you are the director of Open Gold, because the showroom is dirty. So our players also must learn that they should mind their publics, mind the way you behave, mind the way you treat your families. It gets to that. Mind the way you behave in bars, mind the way you are a public figure. But I think fame takes a toll on them. They don't know how to handle fame. But they've got managers, all of them. So it's the duty also of managers of sitting them down and telling them that if you want to make money, it's about how you behave in public. So you find that corporates run away from bad boys. We don't want to be associated with bad boys. But there are good boys as well in football. I've just given an example of Kama Billiard. He's not a friend of mine, but I appreciate how he behaves such that me, myself, I want to be associated. I've bought a kit for Dynamos old boys, right, which they used to play. It's written Open Gold there, because you have deals with Maringwa, they are well behaved. Those boys, you don't hear funny stories about them, and we are happy to be associated with them. So it's about the players. If they want to really succeed in endorsements, even for their clubs, even for our league to be taken seriously, there are things that we must shun away from doing. Archaic also, dark arts, juju in public, and all those things, they must be away from the cameras, away from the match day, and then we play as a professional league. Then we attract money.
Okay. And then there is also the issue of accountability and transparency. I'll put you on the spot here with Dynamos. We knew that Sakunda is the principal sponsor for Dynamos, and money was coming to Dynamos from Sakunda. But then you get to a stage whereby season yakuda kupera and the guys are now protesting that we need our signing on fees. We want to understand kuti mari dzinenge dzimbofamba sei, and how are issues of accountability and transparency in our domestic league.
It's pretty bad, I tell you, because for example, if a sponsor is giving you money and it doesn't reach the players. And then the players strikes. Then the media saying, Open Gold sponsored Dynamos players strikes. So that strike is associated with the person who has already would have done his job and done his part of the deal, but the end users now, they are abusing the resources. They don't get to the final to the players and all. So you find that the biggest problem that we have is the organization part of it. That you take someone who's not qualified in finance to run your finance because he's your friend, and then when you say take bonuses, let's buy a Toyota Aqua for me, he's your friend, he can't resist.
Yes.
So if you take a professional person who has got a professional understanding and who knows that I have to advise the chairman that what we are doing is unethical and we can't do it and we need to acquit this man. There's a thing called acquittal, which all our clubs, I don't think even one who has been sponsors does it. You need to account for every cent. I think things like National Food School of Excellence is done. I've seen it. I've seen Mr. Peter Gonyora showing me the accounts. That's why I loved it. Because he said, this is there. We have used this money for this. We use this for this. It's all in the clear. So acquittals must be done. But the way we have managed our finances, our HR policies, and even the code of conduct is not there on how you have to make someone sign. So you find that in terms of finances, sponsors will run away if you don't acquit, because they would see that you are abusing the money and you are not even making an effort to acquit all those monies. So we have a challenge that if we could manage our publics, our finances properly, I want to commend Highlanders. They have their fair share of challenges, but they publish accounts. On all stakeholders in one room, accounts on the wall. I think except 2023 there was a bit of things there, but you find that alone, or even publishing the paper, your accounts, these are Dynamos accounts, Highlanders, Cape United accounts for the year 2023. Now sponsors wants to be to come to you because they know that the money that they are giving you is going to the end user. The end user will play and win the games. They are well motivated. So it's self-defeating that you sponsor, yet the paper now, the headline, it seems as if you are not sponsoring, and yet you know that you have already done your part. So the way our clubs are handling their finances is like hand to mouth. I've seen individually owned teams where the money comes in the dashboard of the boss for money for drinks. When the team is beaten, he gets into his car angry, he drove away with all the money. Then the teams will not even come with allowances for lunch. You understand? Yes. So if it was institutionalized, the man would have gone there on Monday. And the guy with money is not the owner of the team. Be emotional, drive, go and sleep. But the guy who is responsible for paying allowances will still pay allowances. So we should institutionalize, even individually owned teams, that there's no one individual who is so powerful that if you are beaten 3-0, you will not even get money for it. You understand? So the way we handle our finances has to be professional. It has to be, there's their code of ethics that finance and accounts personnel know that if you want to buy bread, you do the paperwork. If you want to do this, you do the paperwork. But also the relationship between those that own that club and the professional guy must not be friendly. That you should tell your boss that we don't have money for your bride. Money that we are left with is for the boys, for the players, because that's where actually the money comes from. If you want honey, you have to make sure that you keep the bees well, and you make the environment conducive. You don't come here and paint the bees. At the end of the day, you only harvest once, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now coming to your time at Dynamos, you joined Dynamos in 2023 and left was it that same year or the following year?
Yeah, same year, end of year. No, the following year, 2024 in February.
When you came to Dynamos in 2023 as the vice chairman, we saw a strong Dynamos that was assembled then, which went on to win the Ichibuku Super Cup, and it was very competitive to finish the Premier Soccer League in a respectable position. But when you left, things changed.
Yes.
We could not see the team taking flights to play matches in Bulawayo, just like we are used to seeing when you were there. And even the swag dressing, it somehow died down.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you feel you did right during your time at Dynamos?
Firstly, that I want to tell you is that we had unity as an executive. Initially, at the beginning of the year, we sat down, we gave each other our jurisdictions, our expectations. We moved as a unit until we started to fight when the resources starts coming in. But you find that first thing that we did was to sit down, all of us, and say, guys, let's move in one direction. This direction was professional. We respected every player and treated them the same way, such that there was no one player, the camp was united. That's number one. Number two, we made sure that we paid the players first in everything that we do before anything else, because the most important resource in a football club or in a company is the human resources, and also the most important thing are salaries. Don't owe anyone. So you find that we did that, and then we also made sure that we pay them their money on a weekly basis. Know how to motivate your people. You pay them when they are broke, when they don't, when you know that the salary is no longer there, and they are sustained by these winning bonuses. So you find that it was about the finances. It was about paying the players in time, both salaries and winning bonuses. It was also about paying the sign-on fees. It was also about filling holes that were left by our predecessors. For example, paying other players that had already left us, so that we don't create unnecessary chaos. So also at the office as well, treat everyone the same, align salaries to positions. So you find that it was our HR policies there. We were trying. We didn't have anything written down, but we tried to in that moment, let's treat everyone the same. If anyone does things that are bad, you saw headlines about people that were suspended, that would have never been suspended in the past 40 years. So because we said we treat your behavior, not you or your relationship with anyone in the club or owner or whatever what you do is what we deal with. We didn't look at individuals seeing their names. So you find that everyone felt motivated, everyone felt being treated the same, everyone felt that if we play, we win. And also the other thing that I've noticed is that we had the principle that we would address them and tell them once there was no black box. If we don't have money, winning bonuses for the game that we're playing, we'll tell them we'll give them next week, and we'll do that.
You would communicate with the
players. Communicate. After communicating, we would do what we have said or die trying. They will see that, okay, this is genuine, because this is not how our leaders behave. Surely there was a problem, because in every company there are cash for problems, and that does not space football teams. So you don't expect it to be paid on time every month. Yeah, the environment is the same. What's happening at Delta is what's happening in Scotland. So don't also know that cash flow, sometimes we say Tuesday when we get the man on Thursday. But the most important thing was communication was clear. We would come and address them and give them the opportunity to ask us questions, and we would answer them. So it was clear. Then before every big game, we would go in the night to motivate them after supper, just to give them that that fire. I want to give an example. We went to Bulawayo, the game that we beat Islanders 2-0 in 35 minutes, and there was chaos. We went into camp, and with the two of us as executives, we had to take turns just to tell them what the Battle of Zimbabwe means. The boys were fired up. We said, guys, this is the only game that your fans will forgive you for any other thing that you do. You have to beat Islanders. You must beat Capes United. You must beat Zimbabwe. And we would tell them what it means. We knocked out Zimbabwe in 1-0 in Baba Field. We beat Capes United 3 times that year, twice in the league and also in the Chibugu Super Cup, because the boys would know that what does Harare Derby means. Their body language from the first whistle, you can see the eagerness and the instinct to bite. We beat Ngezi twice. 2-1 in the league in national sports. After a week, we went to their home ground, Shibuku Cup final, 2-0 in their background. So we find that motivation also is another thing, not only by money, but also emotional support. So if they see you sitting in the terraces there, after telling them that, and after the game we will see that we had a culture of getting into the turf. Whether they are beaten, whether they've drawn, whether they've won, either it's a tough luck, or you did your all but it wasn't our game. Or well done, you have won. On Tuesday come and take your money. Or you give $20 of your personal money on the turf there and cheer the boys, you see. So these are the things that we were doing, and the boys intend they can play for you. If they can see that you really fight for them, they also want to fight for you on the pitch of play.
Okay, and then there is this issue here, Yema fans from Sakunda.
Yes.
We understand that Sakunda brings money to Dynamos.
Yes.
But when we get to a stage yekuti ma players akuto protesta kuti mari dzedu adzina kuuya and stuff.
Yes.
During your time at Dynamos, maybe if you can break down kuti mari dzaimbonyatsouya dzakamira sei, and what were the funds used for?
What happened is we had there were sign-on fees that came as sign-on fees. Then there were salaries. That man would also come as salaries. But the club had an obligation to raise winning bonuses as well to motivate their players. Even sign-on fees, because you cannot wait on the sponsor alone. You should also make your own money through franchise, through gate takings, and save it, so that when need be, you can actually cover up those certain gaps. So you find that those were the constituencies that the sponsor was covering, which I think also was the best, because if someone pays your salary is the most cost driver, then with also Nyarazo also on the other side doing the transport, providing the bus and the fuel. And also you would also bring in a certain amount of money from the score pack as well. From our supporters, if they subscribe, the club would also benefit financially from that score pack as well. So those were the constituencies. But I'll tell you that during our time, we made sure that everything is channeled towards where it's supposed to go. Then also as a club, we sell our franchise, we look also at the gate takings and all, and make sure that we monetize things outside the sponsorship that was coming. So you also know that we made sure that we engage with our supporters and they are not out of touch with us. So every time we go to Kweru, for example, we would have a meeting with our fans before the game. Give them something to do, give them jerseys to sell, engage with them, show that you love them. So we were followed big time. Even if you look at Chibuku Cup final in 2023, what happened in Ngezi? Selu was blue. Everyone was coming to come and watch. But you could also see that there was a drop in the attendance for our matches in 2024. Because also our supporters want to win. Or they want to see that you are playing, either you are playing nice football and you've been beaten, then they can cheer you up. We were beaten by Bulawayo Chiefs in Bulawayo in 2023 in an away game. We were beaten 2-1, but our supporters kept beating the drum and cheering the boys and saying, "We have seen your effort. This game was not ours. It was a one mistake that happened, and we were not given a penalty that was genuine." So you find that they could see that the effort is there, but the game is lost. So besides the issue of channeling funds as well, once you seem to be abusing those finances, the funds also don't want to pay, because they know that we're probably reaching individuals, not players. So they will start to shun away from coming to stadiums. Remember, we compete with the English Premier Soccer League. That's a problem. But someone would prefer now watching Arsenal at home rather than to come to Rufaro there and be beaten 3-0, or things are becoming ugly there. So we made sure that there is sign-on fees, there is salaries, and then also Sakunda will chip in on the transport side of it as well.
And then Sakunda comes, they pledge that they are going to sponsor the club for the next 3 years.
Yes.
But then we get to a stage whereby the 3 years lapse, but we don't have a solution for what's going to happen for life after Sakunda. Do you feel that you guys did justice in terms of trying to find other sponsors who are going to come after Sakunda, or you then had to be left with no choice than to force Sakunda to come back?
I will tell you that when I say we, including myself, because when you make a decision, when you are the 7 of you making a decision, you may be against that decision, but it's your decision as well. When you come in public, you defend it. It's yours. You don't say, no, it's Veronica, it was, no. But we did not do enough as an executive to prepare ourselves. Because we found that we had 3 years initially, we got another 3 years. Now, we are in the third term of 3 years. The third term now. But what we should have done is also make sure that our club is self-sustainable by doing projects that makes sure that we will be able to cover. Because if someone pays your sign-on fees and your salaries for 6 years, and you cannot, a club like ours, we should have made some franchises, open some shops, sell our franchise, monetize our brand, and make sure that we are self-propelled. And also we don't just wear people's brands without them paying you for that. So you find that I don't think we did enough to prepare ourselves for that life. That's why you find that whenever probably the sponsors seem to be slow in coming in or coming back, or when they are thinking otherwise, the wave of the effect is too much, because there's no preparation even to take the club for maybe 6 months or what. So there must be savings. You must also be creating businesses while you are being assisted, so that in the time that they may say, no, our interests, I think we've helped you enough, we want to pull back, there's no crisis. And also you must be able to kick in other sponsors in time. You must have 4 or 5 at the same time. While this is there, there's another one, because sponsors do not say, no, I want to be a sports sponsor. They don't do that. They say, no, you can look others, we can share space. Someone on the sleeve, someone on the front, someone at the back, and all. So the answer is, I don't think we did enough as leaders to prepare this club, because 6 years is quite a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very long time.
And then we see my vendors at the various stadiums. Vanenge vachitotengesa, I don't know if I can call those the replicas.
Yes.
Kits jezi amunenge munawo.
Yes.
What's the arrangement? Because I believe that for a vendor to come and sell replica Dynamos, there has to be an arrangement with the club, and the club should be benefiting from sales near the vendor. Is there any form of arrangement with particular clubs munomu for my replicas avanotengeswa here, kana kuti razve kungoti kana Veronica angofunga kuti ndawana logo reDynamos rega ndinogadzira zvinhu zvangu nditengese, then that's it?
You know, the biggest problem that we have as a club, like I told you, that we sometimes put people that are not qualified in certain offices. You must have trademark registration. You must have patenting of probably the name Timbari, and also everything that you have for you to be able to sue. So you can create a logo there and don't register it as your trademark, as Veronica, and also don't patent it to protect other people, or other people must pay you for using your logo. So you find that those things are not there. So you find that those vendors, you can't sue them at law. You can't get them arrested because you don't have a legal basis. The instrument that the weapon that you should use, actually, you are weak. And then the other thing is, the supply is short. You are not supplying. You don't have even one jersey at Baba Fields or at Rufaro there. You as a club, you are also vending like in other vendors. You have 2 people walking in the stands. As a club, no, that's not it. You must have a shop with original jerseys, such that if someone offers a fake product, no one goes there. People say, no, we want to support our club financially, intentionally, then also it's genuine. They will come to your shop and they buy. And also bring the jerseys to the people. So those guys, they'll just see a cap and see that no one is selling. So 1, there's no trademark registration. 2, there's no patenting. 3, there's no supply. You don't have anything at your shop. At one point I saw on social media that the stocks of our jerseys are, which was a suicidal mistake anyway, but it was there, that we don't have stock anymore. So people will come and see you don't have stock, they will rush to Tanzania. And in Tanzania, there are Dynamos jerseys written Sakunda with an Adidas jersey.
Yes.
People will buy them for $2-3. They come here, they say 8. The other thing is also the way we are pricing our clubs. Are we competing enough? Because remember, there's that Tanzania route, which sells it. You are selling yours at 25, 30, 40, 50. Someone is bringing it at $8. And probably it's the same quality that you are selling at 50. It's not even the original either, the one that you are selling. So that is the problem that we have, that we don't supply ourselves. After that, no trademark registration, no patenting. You can't go to ZRP and open a docket that this guy is selling my brand, because in court they will say, can you give us your trademark papers that you have registered? So that is the problem with franchise. So you find that there is no control. Someone just comes, they will be having all the 3 jerseys on sale. The Dynamos there, Highlanders there, Caps there, and all. So other teams, you will see Newcastle jerseys, or Juventus jersey. Someone wearing Juventus, you will think it's a Highlanders jersey, but when you look closely, it's an Orlando Pirates one. So I think we as clubs, we have not done enough on the franchise side for us to be able, 1, to deter our spectators from buying from those guys, because they are cheap, we are expensive. We don't supply, they supply consistently. So it's a war that must not be one legal, but also on a behavioral point of change with clubs as well. Just supply.
And reflecting back during at your time at Dynamos, what are some of your deepest regrets? If I was going to get an opportunity to bounce back at Dynamos today, I would do 1, 2, 3 differently.
The first one is that when I was not, I didn't do well by feeling the cracks that were happening in leadership. I could see that now these guys are moving as a group, and I ignored, which was bad. Because I should have called my colleagues. What's the problem? Why are we not eating together now? We used to move around together. Why are we not doing this together? Because differences should actually be a strength, not the other way. When you have another idea, it means we are all thinking. I have my own idea. At the end of the day, if we argue, we are going to do the best for the club. So 1, that is the other thing that we are going to do. Then the other thing also is that at times I ignored bad publicity. You would see that people write lies about you, whether they were sent or not. And usually these are ghost journalists. You just see a name, a ghost name. There's no reporter written. They don't write their names when they want to do those things. So it's something that also I regret doing. For example, you find that my daughter is 11, and in school I'll be discussed. So they'll say, your father has been booted out from Dynamos or what, and all those things. So you find that managing your publics also as an individual, and come out open when things are saying wrong things about you, also protects your family and also protect you as a brand, as Vincent Chawon. You don't have to leave it too late, because people will believe there will be a vacuum, and some people are feeding information about you. There's a vacuum. So that also I'll do it differently. So unifying my brothers or our leadership, not to leave it late until it decays, it becomes bad. They are bed biting, and this guy going to probably the bed chairman and saying things about you, and you are quiet, you are not doing it. So I think also those are the things that I would think we have to do differently.
Okay. And lastly, definitely a question that probably everyone is expecting to hear the response from you.
Yes.
There's been talk that Mr. Chawonza is bouncing back at Dynamos come season 2025.
Yes.
How far true is that, and how do you feel?
It's good, because I'm always a Dynamos faithful. And also I'll be happy to bounce back, actually, if given the opportunity. But but the issue is it's still rumors.
Yes.
I'm not coming, but there's been engagements behind the scenes to that sort. That's what feigned that rumor.
Yes.
That Chawonza is coming back to Dynamos. He could be back in 2024 and all. But honestly, if given the opportunity, I'll be happy to come and do things different at our club and try to put professionalism in there and also bring it back to its glory days. But as it stands, there's no agreement, there's no appointment, there's nothing concrete that I'm coming back. If the season starts as it is, I'm not there. I'll be running my business.
Yes.
But I can't say I will not come back again to Dynamos in future.
Yes.
It's home.
Yes.
It's a club that I've supported ever since I was a childhood. So I will take an opportunity that I can get in future to help my club. So that rumor was there. Engagements have been there, but are just behind the scenes, and we have not yet agreed, because there are certain things that we should agree. You don't want to just come into an institution with conditions that won't allow you to thrive. So if you know that you need moisture and a good temperature and this in order to survive in this space, also in order to be able to implement your things, you would rather ask politely for those things to be done, and then you can come back and make an impact than your name to be written that you are back, and yet the environment is not allowing you. There's what we call in football a conducive atmosphere to succeed. If that is needed. Yeah.
So I think these are some of the dark sides that come with being at Dynamos. Pangoitwa chino behind closed doors, a discussion, an informal discussion behind closed doors. But rumor yato buda yato tendera vdala. This is life at Dynamos.
Yes.
So I think, guys, you heard Mr. Chawonza trying to give us nuggets that could probably help local sport to transform our sport into a business.
Yes.
So catch us next week, same time, with another exciting topic. Thank you.
Thank you.